Double Blind is a 2024 horror thriller, more on the thriller side, but definitely horror at the same time. And ironically, this is about somebody taking a drug that they don't know what the effects are going to be. So this young lady is down on her luck. She's got no place to stay. She has no money. So she enrolls herself in a study. A double blind research study of this drug. And they take it, and they're not allowed to go outside or leave. And of course, starts to have some effects, and not of the good variety. No. So I'll leave it at that. I'll let the big mystery. Because if you read the IMDb description, it tells you exactly what the effects of the drug are, which isn't revealed until halfway into the movie.
Yeah, that's a big spoiler to avoid because we went into it blind. Double blind, since we both were blind. And that's definitely, I think, how you should go about watching the film, because once the effects of the study and the drug are revealed, it's a really cool reveal, and it really adds to the tension of what's happening.
Yeah.
So
now the only actor that I'm familiar with here is Pollyanna McIntosh. I don't know.
She's I think it's doctor.
Yeah.
I recognized her too.
Seen her from quite a few things, including Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's right. Yeah.
But I think everyone else in this is new to me. But everyone's good. This definitely shares some similarities with a few different stories or movies. The Russian sleep experiment is one of them. There's another movie that Bug, I would say is kind of similar, because you've got that claustrophobic feel of drugs taking effect and you not knowing what's going on, which is just horrifying to me. Taking really some scary, completely random thing and that's one of the things I'll definitely give the movie credit for in this regard, and it might upset some people because they like to have everything explained to them, is that the drug itself is never really talked about in the sense of what it is and what's in it and what it's for, and it keeps you in the dark about it like they are.
Yes.
And that I enjoyed. But I'm a big fan of these kind of lower budgeted, singular location, claustrophobic, paranoia films where people just don't know what's going on. And it's that added tension. It's like body horror, where the threat is coming from inside the house, and that house being your body.
Yeah.
And it's like, you can't run from your body.
Yeah.
Right?
It's I think that claustrophobic aspect is terrifying. It's absolutely terrifying.
Once the poison's in you.
Right.
Like, you can run from Michael Myers, and maybe you'll be the final girl.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe you can fend him off long enough to make it to the credits. Maybe you can, defeat the blob or the thing.
When it's outside of you,
yeah,
you have a better chance of fighting it.
Yeah.
When it's inside, and that's why demonic possessions and those types of horror movies where the threat comes from within, I think for both of us are very impactful, because it's the thing that we're both afraid of the most.
Yeah. It's helplessness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really, really actually loved this movie. I thought that it was great. I think that there's some really intense imagery, especially in the second half of the film, once things kind of hit the climax and things are going crazy, and it was scary. It was really freaking me out. Everything about it I thought was really disturbing, and even the initial setup of people signing up to be part of a drug trial, and how like that's a reality that a lot of people live when you don't have money and you're desperate and you don't have any other way of getting money. Like you're like, okay, I'll let myself be a guinea pig. And I mean, obviously, you know, the implication is of companies taking advantage of those types of people and exposing them to dangerous substances.
And I think it'll come of no surprise, so I wouldn't consider this a spoiler at all as far as like the effects of the drugs go. But there's hallucinatory elements
Yeah.
that happen.
Right.
Um, that's pretty easy to guess would happen while you're on drugs.
Yeah.
And the way they utilize that in the film, they don't overblow it. And I feel like they could have used this more to greater effect. But I did kind of like the subtlety to it because they, even though they do use it sparingly, when they use it, I find it's impactful.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought they were going to go for a cop out when something initially happened, and I was like, oh, I think this is where this is going.
Yeah.
And it would be like a total April Fool's Day type of like pull the rug out from under you and be like, ah, ha, ha, it's just this. None of this really mattered. And them not going in that direction helped the movie.
Yeah.
Even though, of course, in reality, I would hope that would be the direction.
Yeah.
You know, because I don't want anyone to suffer in reality, but for characters that are engaging in a film, it's always like, you want to see terrible outcomes for your own entertainment because we're sick, terrible people.
No, I mean,
but yeah, you definitely, you have people you don't like.
Yeah.
You have people you're on the fence about.
Yeah.
You have people that you are very invested in.
Yeah.
Our protagonist here is a very gray character at times, and that was cool. Mm-hmm. So I commend them for that as well.
It's always interesting to have characters like that you're kind of on the fence of whether or not you want to be on their side.
Yeah. And the only gripe I have as far as like this movie and others go, we've talked about this, and I'll continue to keep harping on this till the day I die within cinema and storytelling in general, is just focusing on a single protagonist and being very obvious on to who's going to get through it.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's not fun.
Well,
can we just do like, why? I genuinely don't understand why we can't have more of a broad focus on just, you don't ever focus on any character specifically. You just focus on a group of characters. Because that was like my big problem with Squid Game. Is like there's 456 contestants.
Right, and you have
a main character. And you have a main character the whole show, and you're like, they're going to get to the top 3 or 2, and it's like, so every time he's involved in something, like, it takes the stakes out of it.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think especially in films like this, where the whole concept is around like who's going to survive, it's better to focus equally on different characters. And I think people are just so conditioned to have like a singular character that they can relate to. But I think it's possible to do that with a variety of characters.
Game of Thrones.
That's exactly the example I was going to give. You know, Ned Stark in the first season. Yeah. No spoilers, but like he's definitely like the main character.
That's a spoiler.
That he's the main character?
Yeah, people can figure out where you're going with that.
I'm sorry. It's been out for a long time. If you haven't seen Game of Thrones yet. Come on. But yeah, I mean, that's a great example. And I don't think that they really stick with that throughout the rest of the seasons, to be honest.
I do.
Not as intensely for me, but at any rate.
Major characters die all the time in that show.
That's true. Yeah, I don't know. I guess you're right. But
there are some characters that start to get plot armor.
Yeah.
To a degree, kind of more what for sure. Mm-hmm. You know. But those first few seasons, everything really does feel like anyone's up on the chopping block. And when you set up a movie like this, and more specifically like Squid Game, like I said, that's the perfect opportunity where you have, and this is more focused because it's like a focus group. Right. You can have this can be done pretty easily because you only have like 6 characters, right? And to kind of give 5 minutes to this character, 5 minutes to this character, and really build them up, give them all backgrounds, make you feel for all of them, good or bad, and then kill off one, kill off another, and then you go, oh shit, I didn't expect
I didn't
them.
think they were gonna go,
you know. And I think that's the appeal a lot of the times of like, that's why actually I enjoyed the Squid Game TV reality show, is because I legitimately did not know who was gonna win.
I didn't watch all of it with you, but from what I remember watching a couple episodes, it seemed like each episode they'd introduce somebody that you're like, oh, we're going to follow this person, and then inevitably something would happen.
You have to focus on them, and you'd be like, okay, I know that this person's probably either going or they're going to become more of a focus from here on. So, when you have that many, that's why I'm saying with this kind of smaller setting, it's pretty easy to take 6 characters and don't put a focus on any of them. Put a focus on all of them from a broader spectrum, and being like, I don't know, I just genuinely don't understand why these kinds of movies can't get made. Why these, like, it takes all of the thrill out of who's going to die.
Yes, it definitely eliminates that.
And that's like the whole appeal, is who's going to get out of this.
Right. It's the thrill of it.
And it's just 99% of films, 99% of stories in general always do this. They always have the main character who gets into the big event and everyone's dying around them. And it's like, they're going to make it. Because that's what you focused your attention on. But wouldn't it be way more interesting to follow a group of people? Right? Even with like The Walking Dead or any of these shows, it's like, Rick's going to get it through it. And it's annoying.
I think, like I said, I think that people are just really used to this very traditional storytelling method of having a main character. I mean, I agree. I think it's interesting to shake it up, and especially in like settings like this, why not? Why not have a bunch of main characters? So,
because when it's a movie, especially, you only have like 90 minutes.
You can do whatever.
For like a TV show, I get it. A lot of people return to shows because they like specific characters and they want to revisit and hang out with their friends. But when it's a movie, it's a 90-minute experience and it's a self-contained story.
I agree.
Just make it.
Somebody should make this.
Anyway.
Or we should, maybe, one day.
Absolutely. But they probably get rejected. That's the problem, is they don't get made because studios are like, no, people are morons. They need to be spoon-fed drivel. It's true. Anyway, that's it.
It's a recommendation.
It is.
Made it this far in our little bit of a ramble at the end, but
it is. But
we recommend it.
You're gonna know who has the best potential of getting out of it.
Yeah, you're gonna know,
and that's annoying.
It is.
But outside of that,
it's still a cool.
I really enjoy it.
Yeah, cool concept, really good visual scares, and good acting from everyone.
Yeah.
So,
because you really kind of just stick around to see like, will anyone else survive too?
Well, and you want to
know what I mean?
Like, what will happen?
And if like that main character does die, it's going to be in the last minute. It's going to be like the stinger, and then the credits roll that they didn't get out of it, right? But it's always they got to make it till the last the
last second.
Yes.
Last bit.
Fuck that storytelling. Fuck it. I'm so tired of it. I'm fine with them doing it here and there, because it is that traditional storytelling, but you don't have to do it with every motherfucking movie. You just don't.
Make some variety.
All right, I'm done. Watch it.
Bye.
Let us know. Bye.